A pleasant day to everyone. Welcome back to my third part of report regarding research findings and solutions. Now, we will be also looking at the different challenges. Based on Osborne, 35 physical education teachers completed a questionnaire and 7 teachers were interviewed. The results indicated that the major difficulties faced were low wages, precarious infrastructure, and lack of materials. Physical education is devalued, the space allocated is inadequate, and it is treated as mere recreation. Teachers criticized the lack of commitment of some colleagues who work without planning. They also complained about undisciplined students and lack of interest from their families. Their solution, they aspire to self-improvement, infrastructure, improvements, and more support from school and families. Teachers who do not educate and lack of support from school and government are unstable, and reality, a synergy of efforts be implemented based on a systems view. As UNESCO emphasizes, being in school is for the majority of people the most important beginning to acquire a healthy active lifestyle for life. Therefore, the PE goal is dependent on ongoing collective work for education, continuing education for all the professionals involved in the school, collaborative work, interdisciplinary efforts, and applied researches are recommended to foster a positive learning environment and concrete changes in daily school routine. Let's move to second research by Martin Jeffrey, 2007. Over the 3-year study, we identified 5 distinct challenges that teachers reported facing, along with complex and detailed implications the challenges had on their teaching, including dealing with insufficient resources, providing culturally relevant teaching, teaching in a violent community, the need for a games curriculum, and teaching in a culture of basketball. The most insightful overall findings, however, related to the role teachers' connections to their students played in framing the challenges they faced. Usually, the teachers reported a challenge while immediately situating the challenge to how felt on an emotional level about the implication of that challenge for their students. In other words, the challenge they described were not value neutral. Rather, they were enmeshed most often with frustration or guilt that the challenges they faced forced them at times to underserve their students. On the positive side, however, the strategies that teachers described to overcome the challenges typically led to feelings of optimism and promise at the negotiated compromise they devised. Often, the teachers' strategies resulted in a compromised or alternative vision of a physical education that left both the lingering aftertaste of having to settle for less than the ideal as well as the satisfaction of working within the structural confines to obtain the best for their student. To help current and future urban physical educators to understand, interpret, and deal with their unique challenges, the strategy entails at last 3 facets. First, we must understand the challenges these teachers face and how those challenges intermingle. This study and the others described herein have made considerable inroads in this task. However, there is much more to be learned by in-depth, intensive, and long-term studies of urban physical education. At this point, we have a fairly faint grasp on the concrete realities of urban physical education, how teachers view those realities, and how they survive. Second, once we have a better understanding of the various dilemmas and challenges at play, we must investigate what really works in urban gymnasia and publish better practitioners' materials, simply suggesting, for example, that teachers broaden their curricula beyond traditional Eurocentric sports ignores a host of additional factors that equally structure the content possibilities, such as financial support for the equipment needed in non-traditional activities, or whether students view non-traditional activities such as social capital. The work of Hellison and Ennis et 1999 have offered transforming policy and theory into practical solutions in urban settings. Last, physical education teacher education programs must do a much better job of informing future urban educators about the realities of the work environment and they arm them with instructional motivation, cultural and political weapons they will need to survive. Most of the teachers in the study claim their professional preparation programs prepared them for white affluent suburbs most receive no training about or in urban schools, and this lack of preparation resulted in culture shock as they began their careers in city schools. Now let's move to P-Charette research. The first one is lack of support. The lack of support for your PE program may come from administrators who never come in your gym to see what is going on, or those that will not let loose even a penny to be spent on equipment for your students. It may come from classroom teachers that think you are a babysitting service and your only purpose is to keep their students so that they can have some planning time. PTA groups or other school entities that exist to fund programs in your schools may not feel that physically education is important enough to support. You might also see a lack of support from the district or state, with them holding back funds, providing minimal guiding standards, or limited curriculum resources. The solution: develop a relationship with your administrative team, invite them into your teaching space often, and let them know what you do and why you do it. Ask teachers how you can collaborate with them to help connect some of their academic curriculum to what you already do with your students in PE. Next, use physical education and health related visuals inside and outside your gym that display, teach and advocate what you are about. Invite parents to attend classes and or have community events such as Jump Rope for Heart, Walk America, Family Fitness Fan Nights, Field Day, etc. that pulls the community into your school and teaching area. Make an effort to get to know your PTA or school foundation to establish a positive cooperative relationship with them so that they will want to help boost your program. And next one is the lack of respect. Physical education has had a bit of an identity crisis, and there have been a number of bad practices rampantly used in programs all around the nation. Much of this lack of respect for our field today exists because there are many parents, teachers, administrators, legislators, and community members that had poor PE experiences when they were younger. These people are now the decision and policy makers at all levels of the education system. Even though there are many stellar PE programs today at all age levels, we are haunted by our past and by the previous bad practices that are still being repeated today. Next, our solution: get involved on your school committees and groups to establish positive relationship with teachers, staff, members and school volunteers. Develop a school PE web and or a home PE newsletter to let others know what you do in class, providing opportunities for movement at home, delivering pertinent information to parents about school and local movement experiences. If your school has morning new programs, make yourself available to highlight events that go on in your gym. Give out awards and or lead school-wide movement segments. Use social media to describe, show pictures and or video the great work that goes on in your class and during your special events. Organize before and after school clubs, running, walking, bicycling, fitness, to give students the opportunity to increase their PE skills and fitness, inviting parents or other community volunteers to help implement the program if possible. Now let us proceed to limited standards outcomes and PE curriculum. Some states and districts have outstanding written performance standards that are easy to implement, while others lack depth or not valid. Each district and state is different in what they expect physical education teachers to teach. Some are very clear in their expectations and others are murky. Some districts have supervisors or teacher mentors, but many leave physical education teachers to literally fend for themselves. Some schools, districts, and even states hold a PE teacher accountable for their teaching and assessment, while others do not. Every situation is unique, but chances are you have had a question about how and what you are supposed to teach and when you are supposed to teach it. Let's move to the solution. Become involved and by helping write on your district or state curriculum or standard development teams. Find a mentor teacher, local or online, and establish a relationship with that person to help you develop a solid yearly plan as well as answering questions about your daily lesson planning and implementation. Use free curriculum plans such as Open or ask your district to purchase comprehensive curriculum programs such as a Spark. Use shared lesson activities and plans and or purchase a smaller item to supplement your program from sites such as Teachers Pay Teacher or the PE Specialist. Become an active member of the PE community on social media, Twitter, and Facebook groups such as PE Essential and I Tweet Physical Education are a great place to start your journey. Outstanding activities, skill stations, and games are being shared daily using video, pics, and or written descriptions. Now let's proceed to equipment facility needs. Regardless of your teaching situation, you probably have equipment or facility needs to accomplish your goals. I have seen a huge range of teaching environments from ultra-high teach indoor facilities to those that only teach outdoors with only bare bones equipment and limited playing areas. Some of you teaching physical education now truly do have critical needs to have your program function. No matter where your program is equipment or facility-wise, it is likely that you will have to take steps to up your games and grow your equipment collection to move you and your students to the next level in their development. Let us proceed now to the solution. Partner with other schools to share equipment throughout the year. Coordinate when purchasing to allow for the most variety of activities possible. Establish a relationship with your PTA and/or other school entities that could possibly give you money to purchase equipment for your daily classes. Consider a couple of annual fundraisers. For example, backstops for education, fund run, to boost your equipment needs. If your school or district allows it, use a professional fundraising organization such as GoFundMe or Fundly to help raise money to supply you with what you need. Use discount stores such as Five Below, the Dollar Store, or a Walmart for your equipment needs rather than ordering from PE Sport catalogs. Moving on, the next one is large class sizes, lack of assistance. Although this is not an issue for some physical education teachers, it certainly is for many. Double, triple, quadruple, or more size classes can be the norm for many current PE practitioners. I myself once taught at a school where I had an average class size well over 100 students with 4 to 5 classes coming in at a time. Some of you out there are all by yourself with no help whatsoever and challenged with figuring out how to provide authentic assessment for a large number of students. To truly assess a student correctly, your attention must be focused on that individual student. But you are still in charge of every student in your facility. A huge obstacle in our profession. Let's move to the solution. Utilize stations for skill and game development as a teaching option to spread students out and have several activities related to your unit of study going on simultaneously. Include a number of a large group games that incorporates multiple skills, strategies, movement, concepts, and outcomes. Plan activities that utilize the entire space of your playing area. If there are two of you, use indoor and outer spaces simultaneously to accomplish your teaching goals. Use technology, timer apps, projection devices to aid in your instruction. Consider using large group fitness and dance instruction from organizations. Incorporate large groups, fitness movement at the start of class, an instant activity and/or warm-up. Now let's proceed to lack of professional development. Quality professional development requires time and money. Either presenters are paid to come into a school or a district to provide new ideas, or teachers have to be given paid leave to meet up and share ideas. Many teachers take time of themselves using personal days and spend their own money to travel to state conventions and workshops to grow as a professional. This is not an easy task. As we know, teachers are not paid well, and getting quality subs to take your place isn't always the norm. Personal days are limited each year and travel. Accommodations and registration fees are never cheap. Most professional development done in our individual schools is rarely related to what we do as physical educators. Most of it is geared towards raising academic test scores or getting on board with the newest academic trend. Now, let us proceed to the different solutions. Consider participating in some summertime professional development, such as the National PE Institute, to acquire new teaching ideas and recharge your batteries. Inquire with your district to see if you can meet with or visit other PE teachers from around your area to help share and collaborate. Take part in some online professional development from organizations such as Shape America, PE Central, Espechat, or Pisagogy. And establish a social media, just like Twitter, Facebook, and or Voxer, presence to help obtain and share outstanding teaching strategies, management tools, and movement activities to add to your daily lessons. And we can also add Google Meet. Ask your school PTA or foundation to help offset the cost of traveling to two-state convention and district workshop. Lastly is student behavior. The conduct of students has always been and will always be an issue for physical educators. Is it worse now than it used to be? I am not qualified to answer that question. However, in my opinion, kids are kids. They never want to feel disrespected, and they always want to feel loved, right? The world our students live in now is different than years past. So the challenge for the physical educators is knowing what makes them feel loved and respected. We are also fighting against a society that is generally less physically active now than it has been in the past. It is not always easy to get students to put forth effort to move their bodies when they are not physically active at home. We also see some extremes out there where some of our students are becoming one sport specialists with little physical literacy other than the skill represented from the sport their families are engrossed in. Sometimes it seems these types of student sportsmanship is less than desirable, and it falls on us to teach them how to handle a variety of game and cooperative situations. Now let's proceed to the different solutions. Number 1, make a genuine effort to know your students. Try to understand what makes them tick and develop strategies to handle their individual behavioral issues. Number 2, develop a solid behavior plan that does not punish the whole class for the action of a few. Use a non-threatening stop and think area that allows students to reflect on their mistakes and give them strategies to change their actions. Ensure that students are engaged in learning during your entire lesson to keep off task behavior to a minimum. Put in place a J.D. Hunts or Ben Landers inspired conflict corner, where students can come together to resolve issues they might have with each other in a calm and structured manner. Discuss sportsmanship often and consider it be a continual part of your daily lesson. Give students the opportunity to shake hands or give high five at the end of every activity or game. Incorporate cooperative activities in your curriculum, where all students play a vital role in accomplishing group or team goals. And next one is teacher burnout. It is extremely easy to get caught up teaching the same skills, activities, games, sports, and concepts year after year. It is easier to do same things over again from one year to the next. Providing new activities, games, and stations requires time, work, effort, and sometimes money. Even if you teach differently each year, you are always going to face some of the same issues. No matter how you present your math material, poor sportsmanship, tattling, student behavior, technical issues, equipment malfunctions, and being thrown out of your teaching space will always be a part of the PE teaching experience. You may also come in to work and not know what your gym will look like each day. When other programs move in and out of your teaching space, these types of issue will always push your buttons, and strategies will have to be implemented to avoid early burnout. Now let's proceed to the solution. Make it one of your goals each year to change the lessons in your units or add some new units to your yearly curriculum plan. Attempt new things. You can do that from getting resources you find in books, off the internet, or from social media tweets and posts. Take someone else's idea and make it your own. You have a unique situation with your teaching environment, so add or take things away from what something else has done to make it work better for you. Don't be afraid to come up with something on your own. Be inventive with how you tackle a standard or grade level outcome. Change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end by Robin Sharma. To God be the glory, and thank you for listening. Bye.